Hey everyone, what's going on? So on July 4th this year, we got this story at the top of CNN about the founding fathers and also presidents, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, both dying on July 4th. And I've been talking about how our mainstream media, our told history, our sports leagues, every one of my videos is about how all of that stuff is scripted by the numbers. It's scripted by what is called gematria, which is the practice of coding numbers into words and phrases. And it's ancient knowledge that people such as the Freemasons, such as our founding fathers, understand and have been practicing it. And that's why the Freemason headquarters is in Washington D.C. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. But I always wonder how I can go out and tell people the same thing over and over and show all of these different quote unquote coincidences, yet nobody understands it. And it's because of stories like this that people just they read the story on the mainstream news and they're kind of just programmed to believe that that's a coincidence, that two of the first, of the first three presidents died on July 4th, the nation's independence. What they don't tell you in this story is that the fifth president, James Monroe, also died on July 4th. And these two guys died in the year 1826. And James Monroe just so happened to die exactly 1,826 days later. So three of the first five presidents died on July 4th. What are the odds that there's only been 44 presidents, 44 people to be the president, and three of the first five all died on the nation's independence? I mean, how do you not think, how do you not find that interesting, even if you think it is a coincidence, which it is not? But once again, that's why they created stories like this, and that's why they made the movie The Number 23 and the movie National Treasure and other movies, They made all of them movies to put it right in your face what is going on and, skewing it a little bit, but they're pretty much telling you what is going on. And when they make things like that, people just dismiss it. So many people will watch my videos and say, "Oh, it's just like the movie The Number 23." But do me a favor if you're one of them people and go back and actually watch what happens in that movie. He's not creating that number in his life. That number is literally just coming up in his life. And if you watch my videos and what I'm talking about, that movie is very, very true. And they just presented it in a way that most people will dismiss what I am talking about. And it's a very real thing. It stems back to Jewish mysticism, which is called Kabbalah. And, within Kabbalah, they use gematria. There's the belief that God created the world by merging the letter with the number. And, the Kabbalah principles are later adopted into Freemasonry and whatnot. So, and this whole nation was created on Freemasonic principles. The word Masonic in gematria equals 74. So does Independence Day. So does the word holiday. Our nation's independence is on 7/4, right? And it all stems back to the Bible and Jesus as well. Jesus equals 74. Jesus Christ equals 74. Gospel equals 74. Messiah equals 74. Joshua, Lucifer, Yeshua, Muhammad, all of them words equal 74 in gematria. Jesus supposedly died at the age of 33. Oregon is the 33rd state, and it's the only state that equals 74 in gematria, or at least in the base ciphers. I haven't checked in all of the other ciphers, but Oregon equals 74. It's the 33rd state. That's why there's 33 pillars outside of the headquarters of Freemasonry in Washington, D.C., named after a 33rd degree Freemason George Washington. I mean, look at him in gematria even. Like Washington D.C. equals 187. George Washington equals 187. You know, there's 187 chapters in the Torah. Once again, stemming back to Jewish mysticism, the Kabbalah. Freemasonry within the Catholic Church is called the Society of Jesus. That equals 187. Pope Francis, you know, if you're in the Society of Jesus, you can't also be a Freemason. Or if you're Catholic, you can't be a Freemason. But if you look up old pictures before Pope Francis was the Pope, he has pictures doing the hidden hand sign. And that is a Freemasonic pose. And they've been one and the same for a very long time, if not since the very beginning. And I've shown multiple reasons for that as well. So I just wanted to show some more examples throughout history, and I wanted to talk about this, because this story, absolutely no coincidence, you know. 3 of the first 5 presidents all die on the nation's independence. I forgot to mention too, in regards to 74, the word English equals 74, and gematria equals 74. Gematria is what I'm talking about, the practice of coding numbers, and I'm talking about how it deals within the English language. Gematria 74, English 74, Jewish 74, alphabetic order equals 74, and so, you know, it's also the 137, which is the 33rd prime number, and 33 is that big important number. Like I said, the 33 pillars outside of the Freemason headquarters. Jesus supposedly died at age 33. Jesus was the carpenter, right? A builder. Like Freemasonry, they're builders, you know. There's the 33 vertebrae in your back and the spiritual belief of the Kundalini, right? And it's all about foundation, right? Think about your spine in regards to foundation and building. And if you write out July 4th, it even equals 156, just like if you write out 33 as words. So it's super duper important. There's a lot that goes back to the tree of life as well that has 33 permutations. So what else is interesting about this story before I move on is that these guys died on the 50th anniversary of the United States, and in gematria, America equals 50, which means that James Monroe, he died on the 55th anniversary, and that's really important to what I'm talking about in regards to, you know, Christianity and this nation being founded on Freemason principles. Think about the King James Bible, King James, a Freemason. But the reason that's so important, the 55th anniversary, is because God equals 55 in reverse, and Satan equals 55 in the frontwards way. And if you write out 74, it also equals 55. Just like heaven equals 55, you know, lots of other words. But you notice how they're the reflections of each other, which it goes back to Hermeticism, which is used within Freemasonry and the Tree of Life. And there's the belief that everything is the same and everything is also the opposite, you know, such as hot and cold. They're not really any different. It's just a different degree of hot and a different degree of cold. Stuff like that. So, you know, north is really just more south than, you know, and south is really just less, you know, it's more north, or more, it's less north, if that makes sense. And that's why these things are the reverse. And possibly you've heard the song by Marilyn Manson called You Say God and I Say Satan. And in the small way in gematria, I'll just show you really quick. It is really important. 10, God equals 10 the small way. Satan equals 10 the frontwards way, the small way. That's why Marilyn Manson says, you say God and I say 10 because he knows all about gematria. He practices Kabbalah. But I wanted to bring all this up in regards to the reflection of numbers and why they are important to this ancient knowledge that is being used to rule over us. And the nation's independence is 7/4. In most parts of the world, though, they write the date as 4/7, the reflection of 74. And 47 is a super important number in regards to Freemasonry. The Freemason compass, if you go look up the picture of the Freemason compass and square, it's set at 47 degrees. And at the very top of it is also the circle of the compass, which they call the pole star. Pole star equals 47 in gematria. And they have the belief of Euclid's 47th problem. Euclid, the founder of geometry, geometry equals 108, Euclid equals 108. But Euclid's 47th problem. And it's all about the foundation of a perfect square. The word foundation equals 47. The word president equals 47. The word White House equals 47. Government equals 47. DC equals 47. Republican equals 47. Democrat equals 47. You know, George Washington, supposedly born on 2/11. 2/11 is the 47th prime number. If you look throughout history, you'll find guys such as Henry Ford, who was a well-known Freemason, who supposedly died on 4/7 of the year 47, right? And Ford Motor Company equals 211, because it's all about Freemasonry. It's also why I'm pretty sure that it was the 3 of the first 5 presidents died. It was the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 5th, because this number 235 is important to Freemasonry as well, because that each leg on the Freemason compass is 23.5 degrees, right? 235, 23.5 degrees. The tropics are located at 23.5 degrees north and 23.5 degrees south. The Earth's axis, I believe, is supposed to be 23.5. So I'm pretty sure that's why they had the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 5th all die on July 4th. And then let alone they die 1,826 days apart, and the first 2 died in 1826. We also, in my research over the years, I also noticed that another president was actually born on July 4th. So we have 3 presidents of the 44 people who die on July 4th, the nation's independence, and there's also one of them who was born on the nation's independence. I mean, the odds of that are ridiculous. Out of 44 people, I mean, maybe they should have bought a lottery ticket back then, you know? But Calvin Coolidge, born on July 4th, 1872. Think of his name, C. C is the 3rd letter, a lot like 33. And he was born on the 96th anniversary. The word Freemason equals 96, and it also equals 147 in reverse. So, you know, he was born on the 96th anniversary of the nation's independence, CC 33, and then 4th of July even equals 147, just like Freemason. And notice how he became the president on August 2nd, and that was because Warren G. Harding died in office. August 2nd, that's an interesting day because that's the day that a lot of people believe the Declaration of Independence was actually signed and not July 4th. So August 2nd, he's born on the nation's independence, and then August 2nd, the day he becomes the president. It's just super fitting for the nation's independence and whatnot. Also, in this article, they make sure to let us know that John Adams and Thomas Jefferson weren't talking for a long time, and then they started writing again, and eventually they mailed over 185 letters to each other. Now, why even say that? Why say over 185? Why not just say almost 200? Doesn't that make a little bit more sense? The reason they use this number 185 is because July 4th is the 185th day of the year. And Calvin Coolidge, if you notice, he died 185 days after his birthday, even in the year 33. CC 33, he dies in the year 33, 185 days after his birthday, born on the 185th day of the year. So, some other examples. Let's just look at a few other examples so you don't think it's a coincidence. The Declaration of Independence, it was actually signed by 56 people. The first one was John Hancock. And if you look up John Hancock, he died at the age of 56. And this last guy here, George Walton, he was the 56th signer. His name in Gematria equals 56. George Walton, 56. He's the 56th signer on the Declaration of Independence that had 56 signers. And John Hancock dies age 56. The 39th guy, Charles Carroll of Carrollton, or Charles Carroll III, you might know him from the movie National Treasure because he's the one who passed on that the secret lies with Charlotte to Benjamin Gates' father on that movie. So just go back and watch that movie. Charles Carroll III is the guy who passed on the secret lies with Charlotte. But he was the last guy to die who had signed the Declaration of Independence. He died 56 years after signing the Declaration of Independence, and he was the last one to die that signed it. And there was 56 signers. He died 56 years later. He died 56 days before his birthday. He was a Jesuit when you look him up. Society of Jesus also equals 56 in Gematria. Royal family equals 56. King James Bible equals 56. With the S exception, president equals 56. You know, Osama bin Laden equals 56. Adolf Hitler equals 56. ISIS equals 56. What are the odds of all them equaling 56 in Gematria? You know, even just think about it. The Paris, France. Remember, ISIS supposedly attacked Paris, France. Paris, France equals 56. Notice it equals 187 as well. And just think about the Bavarian Illuminati. Also, you know, I guess it's a good segue into another thing I was going to talk about within history. Abraham Lincoln died at the age of 56, and he died in the month of April, right? Same month that Hitler died. Adolf Hitler equals 56. But Abraham Lincoln was born on the 43rd day of the year. And the word Civil War, the phrase, well, I didn't even realize it equaled 56 before. That's actually hilarious. But Civil War equals 43. Abraham Lincoln was born on the 43rd day of the year. He became president on March 4th, which in most parts of the world they write the date as 4/3, right? And think about the reflections that I was talking about earlier. He also died exactly 4 years and 3 days after the Civil War began. And the Civil War began in Charleston. That equals 43 in Gematria. You know, what are the odds? It begins in a place that equals 43. It equals 43. The president's name, the president was all about 43. If you write out 43 in Gematria, it equals 59. The Civil War supposedly came to an end on May 9th, 5/9. And this is this big number that is stamped all over black people and slavery all throughout history. The word slave equals 59. The word Negro equals 59. Cotton picker equals 59. Jigaboo equals 59. Remember, not necessarily in regards to the Civil War, but leading up to it, you had John Brown with the Harper's Ferry raid. John Brown equals 43, but he died on 5/9 in the year 1859 at the age of 59, supposedly, Rodney King. Rodney King equals 59 in Gematria. Rodney King, 59. Rasta equals 59. Blues equals 59. Motown Records came out in the year 59. Many, many more examples of the number 50 died and how it is connected to black people, all throughout history. Rodney King even supposedly born on April 2nd, 4/2. Look at the super inward here. 42. That's why Jackie Robinson wore the number 42. That's why there's another guy who actually played before Jackie Robinson, and he only played 42 games. The first ever pitcher to pitch in the World Series, black pitcher, was Satchel Paige. His name equals 50. His real name equals 59. Supposedly came into the league at the age of 42, and he played until the age of 59. I mean, just all throughout history, Rosa Parks was on the bus at the age of 42. Bus equals 42. I mean, the 42nd day, 211, right? 211, remember 211, the 47th prime number? And that's George Washington's birthday. February equals 42. It's Black History Month. Normally ends on the 59th day. During a leap year, it ends on the 60th day. Look at that. 42, 60, also 102. The Civil War began on the 102nd day of the year. You know, what are the odds? Slavery equals 102. Like the super N-word, it equals 42. Abraham Lincoln equals 60, you know. What are the odds? Just Abe Lincoln equals 42. Even stuff I talked about a long time ago, Kansas, that equals 43, just like Civil War. It became the 34th, the reflection of 43, and last state to join the Union before the Civil War, and they became a state, I believe it was either 34 or 43 days before Abraham Lincoln became the president on 3-4, or also 4/3, you know? All throughout history, it is all scripted this way. And they gave us all that stuff about, Lincoln and, being replaced by a Johnson, just like JFK and whatever else. Lincoln died in Ford's Theater and JFK died in the Ford. They put all of that in your face, and all it seemed to have done is make people go, oh, what a coincidence. When it's not a coincidence whatsoever. It literally happens all of the time. All throughout history, this is going on. If you pay enough attention, this happens in your own life all of the time. For example, my mom is her maiden name equals 82, her full name, her married name equals 82. I was born in the year 82, 82 days before her birthday even, you know? And what I am saying is that there's this system that people such as the Freemasons, the Jesuits, all these intertwined things, they understand this ancient knowledge of how this world is connected by numbers, and they're using it to rule over us by giving us, they're creating history this way. They're manipulating our minds, and we're putting a certain energy into, false stories that are going on, such as the kids being trapped in the cave and whatnot. That's all about the number 13. There's 13 people in there. Cave equals 13. And it was 1 month and 3 days, a lot like 13 before the Chilean miners being trapped. The anniversary of the 33 miners being trapped, right? Miners equals 33. It's just ridiculous, Soccer equals, oh, I spelled it wrong. Soccer equals 99. And if you write out 13, it equals 99. So there's so much more, Need to make a whole separate video on that. But all throughout history, even, look, Revolutionary War. Revolutionary War equals 84. United States of America equals 84. We got our independence from George III. That equals 84. Thomas Jefferson equals 84. Louisiana Purchase equals 84. Jesuit equals 84. I mean, what are the odds? So we'll leave the video there. You get the gist of what I'm saying. There's multiple other things that I could show in regards to history and how it is all synced up by the numbers. Even history equals 42, right? 42, just like Freemason, right? History, just like math. All of this stuff coded by the numbers 42 and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the the secret to the universe, right? 42, and eh, there's 42 generations leading up to Jesus in the New Testament. New Testament equals 42 in Gematria. There's the Gutenberg Bibles that had the 42 lines. You know, Jesus was born in Bethlehem, if I can spell it right. Beth, I don't know. Bethlehem equals 42. It also says Bethlehem in Judea that equals 142. And if you read out 42, it equals 142. Also 43, you know, look what Jesus Christ equals 43. So, you know, no coincidence. There, you know, these numbers are like synonyms, the reflections and whatever else. So, we'll leave it at that, you know. Have a good one. Just quit believing in these mainstream media articles. Quit thinking it's a coincidence and start applying this for yourself, and you're going to find all kinds of things all throughout history. You're going to see the mainstream media is always coded this way. If you watch sports, you're going to see how that's all coded by the numbers. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. We just got a story about LeBron James's mural in Los Angeles being vandalized, and it said the King of LA. King of LA equals 42. Lakers equal 42. LeBron James equals 42. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So, have a good one and peace.